think it's working. think it's working. think it's working. Oh, I think we're back. All right, I think so. I don't know. Everybody, check my my volume because I just want to make sure that everything is a-okay. Hold on. Oh, I know. I think we're back, right? Can we just double check that real quick? Everybody in the comments section right now, I just want to make sure that your old pal Whitty is working just right. Anybody? All right, I'm just gonna assume that everything's working okay since okay, I think I'm good. All right, I think I'm good. Welcome back. The reason why I wanted to make sure is guess who has the keys to the yard today? That's right. Yours truly, your old pal Whitty, aka Slick Whitty, aka the Baron of Banville, aka the Bobby Yaga of Central Indiana, aka the most banned man on WIBC. I'd like to think so. That's because Johnny Suitcase, Johnny GOP's, Johnny Chateau de Mars Hills is not here today. He's on vacation. So if I really wanted to, I could whip out my old Whitty out and he ain't going to do nothing. But I won't. I'm not going to. That'd be rude. I'll save that for the Saturday show. Something for all of you guys to look forward to on the Saturday show. Man, I'll tell you what, the last couple of days have been stressful. Last night I was gonna get some ice cream with the pup, and blew out my tire, so I had to order one today. The very first show of the Indie Reporter show was a giant clusterfuck. Like I wanted to put it on Restream, so that way I could use OBS, but apparently like the transfer rate of between Restream and OBS just totally goofed everything up. So now I'm probably going to have to do it through StreamYard. I might do that. The problem is like, I don't know how much I'm going to like it, to be honest with you. I'm not sure I'm going to like it at all. All right, who's in the chat, though? You know how we do things around here. Who do we have in the chat? Jimmy Spiro, Special Power, and Kif, Strongest Soldier. Let's go. Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Hey, and I wasn't even late. I was like on time how it's supposed to be. All right, so what happened don't worry, we're still going to end at like 8:50. I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to find like the end stream. I was just going to have to take a hammer to my computer and just melt the whole thing off. Well, I don't have to now, unless I'm in a mood, which I might be. I got myself some hot toddy and then some water. As soon as the show is over, I'm going to go to bed because I have to get up pretty early. I'm pretty in mind, if not spirit. I had D2 Indy to chat. Let's go. Man, D2 Indy, what'd you think about today's committee meetings? It was pretty wild, right? We're not going to talk about, but let's give a Polly in the chat. Let's go. Papa Whitster. Let's go. 2026. All right, so show us their puppy sometime. I might do that for the Bohachik, drill this year. Wart, let's go, Drew. Wart is in the house. We are so back. All right, so let's do a little catch up right here. D2 Indy, you are correct. Let's do a little catch up of what's going on right now. We are talking about redistricting at the State House instead of a special session. We decided to start a little bit early. That means they'll probably be done by the end of February, if not like the beginning of March. Probably more like end of February. So they get paid like $70,000 for 3 months of work. Awesome. And they're supposed to be part-time, by the way. So the map came out yesterday morning. The one on the left is the current congressional plan. I'm not a big fan of it. This is the current one right here. I prefer the map from Erickson, where like, I think it was District 9 is a giant middle finger. I mean, if you're going to have to do some redistricting and change the maps, at least make it funny. That's all I'm saying. Is that too much to ask for? So then moving on to like, I think it was like an hour before the House was going to convene. A lot of the bills start coming out. And the one thing I was looking for was this one. House Bill 1032 for redistricting from Representative Ben Smoltz. Now, I tell you what, Ben Smoltz, I don't think was very high in the trust chart, but after yesterday and today, he just moved up. Wherever he was, I don't know where he is, but he's automatically moving up a tier. Actually, you know what? Let's doesn't he have it? Oh no, that's his only bill right now. I think they have until the end of next week or next Thursday to file the rest of the bills. So, of course, you can't have any of this redistricting without some drama. And that's exactly what happened. So as soon as Todd Houston, the House Speaker, gavelled in, Phil Giaquinta, he says, point of order. And I heard it. I watched it. I'm trying to figure out, I was like, what the hell are they talking about? So took a few minutes to figure out what was going on. They come back. Todd Houston says, after consideration to the point of order was not well taken, which I obviously laughed. It was very funny. So then we're trying to figure out what was going on. And what their argument was from Phil Giaquinta, Matt Pierce, and Ed Delaney, they all said that the rules were being broken because the Democrats, I think the minority leader has to be consulted if there's going to be a change. The guy who admitted this is politically near. He's not my new hero. Listen, Ireland will always be my hero. Captain Ireland. I'm just saying he moves up because he handled with precision, with like a doctor. He just cut them all up, scalpel style, all the Democrats. He's just sitting there like a G and just handing Delaney and Giaquinta and Matt Pierce their ass on a platter. Man, what a G. So anyway, they say, well, because we have to be consulted if we're going to have a change of what the rules are. Hey, we're supposed to be meeting on January 5th, but now all of a sudden we're meeting on December 1st. The rules have been broken. And if you remember, too, Mitch Gore wanted to stage a walkout and have a couple of the Republicans so they can break quorum. Well, that never happened. In fact, Mitch Gore was there. This is why you can't trust Democrats. They never keep their word. They're a bunch of liars, always will be liars, and a bunch of pansies. Hey, if you're going to stage a walkout, hold up to it, bro. But because Mitch Gore is a little bitch, that's exactly what he will do. All right, so moving on. After that happened, the ruling of the chair sustained. The rules of the chair said, you know what? Too bad, so sad. And funny enough, did anybody vote that? No, this was not the one. Of course, my shitbag state rep did not vote. I'm not even sure if he was there yesterday. Would not be surprising because he was not there on organization day. Well, shocker, everybody will vote for him again, no matter who they put in front of him. In fact, I'm going to try and find a Democrat. I'm going to try and find myself a Jesse Brown Democrat, and then Indie Reporter is going to shill for them to try and get them to beat Moed, because I don't care that much anymore. I just want Moed out of there. So after that, obviously, you had Delaney, you had Suresh Pryor, you had Matt Pierce, and you had Gia Quinta. They all spoke on what was going on, and even to the point where Suresh Pryor says the maps are racially gerrymandered. This was a very common theme, by the way, for the last 2 days, from yesterday and today's elections committee meeting. It was basically like, hey, what about the brown and black folk? And what was really funny is that she said Andre Carson brings back millions and millions and millions of dollars to Marion County. Really? Where? Because I don't see it anywhere, unless you're talking about those lame-ass car chargers that were going to take the black people out of poverty because of their electric cars. Get the fuck out of here with that. I am in a mood. How much Whitty hates Moed. Yeah, I hate that scumbag. Remember, okay, a little throwback to our masochist Moed. When I was running for state rep, I saw him at a meeting and I confronted him and said, hey, we are going to have a town hall. It was between me, Margaret Henselberger, Scheidel, who was the primary opponent against Moed. And he's like, all right, think about it. We had it at the Mars Hill Art Center. He never showed up. We tried to market it. We tried to promote it. Not a whole lot of people showed up, but honestly, that's pretty much par for the course. A lot of people will not show up for those town halls. As much as people bitch about their representative or even having candidates have a town hall or a debate, they don't show up. Not exactly sure why, but they don't. All right, so then that was yesterday. Now, then they tried having a vote to adjourn. They said, hey, you know what? Let's just leave. Let's just get out of here. And they said, and it was from Delaney. They're trying all these tactics to try and just get the redistricting bill to not happen. Listen, it's inevitable that it's going to get through the House. So just try to make it as smooth as possible. Because here's the thing, everybody, all Democrats, I'm watching all this and I'm clipping all of it. So when Ed Delaney spurgs out and says, hey, guess what? When Democrats take over, you're going to get trucked over. I'm clipping that. When you say, I was one of the Democrats that went to Illinois, you look like a bitch. When I see Democrats constantly talking about more racism, more black and brown people, hey, this is racially gerrymandered, I'm clipping it. And you're looking like a bunch of dopes. And don't you worry, there's a lot to clip today. And D2 Indy knows exactly what I'm talking about. Felching Scheidel. So anyway, there was a motion to adjourn, and there were 2 Republicans that voted with Democrats. Ed Clear, who is like number 3 on the do not trust chart, and then Jennifer Meltzer, who is in like the top, is in the, I think she's in like 5B for the trust chart. I don't really trust her that much. But surprisingly, and I'm not exactly sure why. I don't know if her button or maybe her button broke, but Clear was definitely voting for Democrats often. Then after that, Ben Schmaltz went and talked to, and he said, hey, the rules are being, this was actually before. Was this after? No, this is right after they came back from the very first recess. And he said, the rules are being followed and they are behaving properly. Nothing to worry about. So then after that, Delaney said he was one of the representatives to go to Illinois. And so I clipped it, and he said, and I was like, there are multiple people that agreed with me, by the way, that were commenting off it. He said, he's literally saying, do it now, or the moment they can, they are not going to hesitate. Nice. That's what lead and powder were made for. Okay, then there was a motion to reject the bill, and that failed as well. Noticing that Ed Clear was the only only Republican that voted with Democrats. There seems to be a very common theme with Ed Clear, but from what we were told, he's well liked. Actually, you know what? Let me see. We got time. We got plenty of time. I'm thinking about it right now. ADD, activate. Shiny thing, activate. Squirrel, activate. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Nobody's running him against the primary. However, he is in a interesting district. Maybe not during the midterms, but definitely during presidential. Would have had a chance if Tommy Jones didn't go in there. I mean, look how much money he spent too. Holy shit. That's wild. Anyway. All right. So then they what I didn't understand was there was a news reporter that said, "Hey, we're going to be having the elections committee meeting at this time tomorrow and here." And I had to ask someone that I knew who's very more versed into like the rules of this stuff, and I said, "Wait a minute. Don't they have to agree for this to go into committee before they can even announce it?" And they're like, "Yeah." Like, but they all know it's going there, so I guess they might have like said, "Screw it." If it does, maybe it was like, "Hey, if it does happen, it's going that way." So true, D2 and D. Jennifer Felcher, that'd be so funny. So, all right. So if you're watching that, we knew what was going on. Now, interesting enough, this morning, you probably saw it. Ben Smolt says him and his family were, let me repeat what he says. He says political pressure is part of the job. And there were multiple people that spoke out in public comment that said, no, it's not. It shouldn't be. It's like, no. But it is. How many times have I said it? I'm actually feeling a little bit jealous. Everybody has been threatened with a pipe bomb or swatted. I was like, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. I'm an indie reporter. I run the Facebook account. The other two people are ghosts, but at the same time, I'm the voice and the face of any reporter. Why am I not getting swatted? Anyway. And then I am a little bit jelly. He was threatened to have his family killed in front of him, where he would be killed. So he was threatened to have his family killed in front of him, and then he would be killed. And by the way, this is a huge mixed bag of all the people that are getting swatted or threatened with pipe bombs or whatever, even to the point where people are starting to go a little bit conspiracy bro on it. Say, but did they? What kind of threat exactly did you get? Because I imagine a lot of these legislators, they get threatened all the time on social media or through emails or whatever. Like, what exactly is a threat? Now, this one's pretty specific. I don't know, Drew. I'm not exactly sure. Okay, but the public comment was one of my... Okay, so hold on, wait. Before we say that, what was really funny was that a bunch of legislators, so everybody had public comment, and who started off with was the legislators. Now, originally, Chairman Tim Wesco, he said, we're going to have a 5-minute limit. Now, what I wasn't sure about was the snow. How many people were actually going to show up? How many boomers were going to get chartered in like yesterday? Am I right, bros? Am I right, Brad? Am I right? How many of these paid protesters showed up on a charter bus? That's what I want to know, Brad. Tell me, Brad. I must know. So the legislators, they just went on. Like, I hate it. Okay, so I've only spoke one time where... You mean by Democrat? Is that what you're saying, Brad? By Democrat on Democrat crime? Sounds like that's what you're saying. So this is what I absolutely cannot stand. You have a time limit, and these legislators and the people speaking are feeling so entitled where they go above that limit. Not even a little bit, but like minutes. There was the former lieutenant governor. I forgot what her name is, but she was under Mike Pence, and Wesco gave her a time limit, and then she had reached that time limit, already passed that time, and she's like, I have 2 minutes left. Okay. So there was a 5-minute time limit, and she ended up going like almost 7 minutes. I hate that. When I spoke at a public comment at Wayne Township about the fire department, I had exactly what I wanted to say. I had like, I think 3 minutes, and I nailed that thing down. I went through like 10 practices, and I timed myself. I took like a whole paragraph off because it was too much. And I was timed. It's like, all right, here's the punchline. Here's where I have to be. This is where I got to go. I was like probably 2 sentences off because I flubbed a little bit. And then I tried to speed up. But like I was so, hey, we have to make sure that everything that I want to say is in that time limit. Is that too much to ask? Why can't everybody just follow that rule? Time limit, people. Time limit. Have some respect for everybody else's time. But you know what? This is why I'm awesome. This is why I'm a committed guy. It's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to be here at this time, so I'm going to be there at this time. Or when I say, hey, I'm going to be meeting you on this day, I will be meeting you on this day. So true, Drew. I've delivered. As usual, I deliver. All right, so then Robin Shackelford, who ran for mayor of Indianapolis back in 2023, she says that she was comparing the redistricting bill to the Hitler-type plan of control. There was like, hey, you know what? This is Hitler stuff. This is racial gerrymandering. Think of the brown and blacks. This is redlining. This is modern-day redlining. It was just the same old boring talking points that we constantly hear, and I refuse to go for it. However, there was a pirate that showed up, and I'm not trying to make fun of this guy, but at the same time, you look like an Amish pirate. Sorry. When you have like a skull and crossbones on your patch, like you're opening up yourself for jokes and criticism. I'm sorry. I have no choice. I think this is who you saw too. Ducky in the chat. Let's go. Number 2, maybe number 1. Let's see. Operation. No, Samson option. Yeah. Some comment summary: racist, slavery, Hitler, racist, marginalizing Muslims. Oh yeah, the Muslims were in. I completely forgot. Thank you, D2 Indy. I couldn't believe how many Muslims showed up. And they were all talking about Andre Carson or Lake County's like, hey, you know what? This affects our Muslim vote. Actually, Muslims, you should be deported by catapult. All right. So then this guy was probably my favorite. D2 Indy, do you remember this guy? This one was by far my favorite because this guy was like, I don't know if you can hear it or not, but this guy was holding on to this microphone like he was going to try and jerk it off and swallow the cum out of it. And then he starts looking at Ben Smaltz, I think. Yeah, this guy right here. And look at him right here. Hold on. Hold on. Let me disappear. And look at him. Boo. Oh, no, he starts clucking at him like a chicken. That's what it was. It wasn't even booing. He started clucking at him like a chicken. He looks at him, huh? I mean, I'm going to be playing the audio tomorrow on the Indie Reporter show, but this guy was by far the funniest. Like, he did not care. And by the way, he's running against Jefferson Shreve next year. I'm pretty sure if there's somebody running against him in the primary, he will lose. No doubt. This guy right here is Nate Stout, and he is running against Heath Van Natter next year. And he says, the best part of this one, hold on. He starts like crying. I'm telling you, tomorrow during the Indie Reporter show, I'm going to play the audio with all of his stuff. But like, no doubt, he was about to just start wailing. And he says, you're going to get some competition. And I hate to break it to you, but I checked the Ballotpedia. Heath Van Natter won last year's election 75-25. So I don't know how much of this competition you're expecting, but I think Johnny over here said it best. We can do with less soy men in leadership. Imagine crying over redistributing in deep red Indiana. Isn't this the same boy? Democrats waking up to next morning after their No Kings protest and realizing their Donald Trump was still their president. So true. Yeah, R.N. Franco, common W. They're so strong with this one. Make sure you give R.N. Franco a follow, by the way. We need to get him over 100. All right, this guy was awesome. Because he begins, he's like, hey, I know I didn't even have my name on here. It's like, and he goes like, I was signed up. And West goes like, well, I don't see you. He's like, oh shit, bro. What do you mean? It's like, of course, man, of course. And he looked like Cornel West. And then he starts off as like, hey man, I know you miss Big Mama. It's like, what are you talking about, man? I'm gonna be playing audio of this tomorrow. This is why it's going to be so hard for me to have the Indie Reporter show, because I have to mog these people. I have to make fun of them. I don't have a choice. It's built into me. I have to make fun of these fucking weirdos who's like, hey man, why you threaten Mike Pence? I don't like his politics, but you know, what's that all about? Hey Spiro, you need to come over to the YouTube chat. That's what Drew is saying. All right, so, but the highlight, the number, hold on, I want to make sure I got this guy. Yep, okay, so, but the highlight of the speakers, of everybody that went up there and spoke, would be Nathan Roberts. All right, this guy totally nailed it out of the park. Total Hoosier Patriot, total W. I mean, I hope he runs for office. And by the way, this is the twin brother of Nick Roberts. You know, the 25-year-old that has a part-time job, but somehow he's part of a 1.8, deciding on a $1.5 billion budget, whatever it's at right now for Indianapolis. Yeah, the SNL skit for sure. I hope he runs for office. I hope he runs against Nick at a minimum. I will shill for him without a doubt. But overall, there's Spiro. Let's go. There you go, Drew. Ask and you shall receive. Because I'm a man of the people. That's why. All right. But basic rundown of what happened was from the Democrats. And they kept repeating themselves. And by the way, it got to a point where even Wesco was like, all right, listen, we have to stop. You cannot keep asking the same question over and over again. He's answered it. Ben's answered it a bunch of times, and you keep asking the same question one way or another. And basically, this is what it came down to. Should we do it? What about demographics? How does splitting up Marion County help constituents? Because they're talking about how Marion County split up. Well, here's also another point, what I was thinking of. Wayne Township is not like Franklin Township or Warren Township. Pike Township, actually, I take that. Decatur Township is not like Center Township. So splitting everything up in Marion County, actually not that bad of an idea. I never really thought about it like that, but you can't compare every part of Marion County to be the same thing. Like Decatur is not Warren. Broad Ripple is not Franklin Township. So splitting them up, splitting up the boys, maybe not a bad idea after all. And then what about more race votes? What about giving more government handouts? Yeah, that was the other thing too. They're like, hey, you know what? We're here for redistricting. Why don't we worry about utility rates? Why don't we worrying about childcare? I was like, you just want to give more government handouts. That's literally all you want to cry about. But that's fine. And then Wesco is definitely over it. Got to give a few likes on there. Republicans will be influenced by. Okay, whatever. Okay, so what happened after that? So we finally get done with the election committee, and then about half an hour, give or take, there was where's the warrant? Where's the warrant? So true, D2 Indy. All right, so after that, that's the House convened. And I was like, wait a minute, this is weird. Okay, so obviously my shitbag state rep is right. He's not there. But then I start paying attention. Wait a minute. There's like all the Democrats are not there. But there are a couple of Republicans too. So McNamara wasn't there. Meltzer wasn't there. Where was another one? Bartels wasn't there. But I think but you had quorum basically. And then right at the beginning, they said, hey, point of order. There was something about the rules exactly. And it was like having to amend. I forgot exactly. It was so lame that I didn't even pay attention to it. And it didn't really matter. Because here's the thing, Democrats, all you're doing is delaying the inevitable. It's going to run through the House. What you need to do, if you really want the pressure, is through the Senate. That's where they're going to be the tough cookie for sure. And as usual, Ed Clear votes with Democrats. So that's pretty much a guarantee that he will be voting no on the maps. Now, I do have a few ideas of what might be happening on who's going to vote, but I will talk about that tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Yeah, I'll talk about that tomorrow on the Indie Reporter Show. That way I have a better not a better audience, but hopefully a bigger audience. I need the word spread out. All right, so there's Zimmerman, and he has explained the rules because Blake Johnson, where is that goofy bastard? I don't know. Oh, there he is, right behind him. I don't know how I missed him. And then a couple of the other Democrats and Zimmerman went up there and said, actually, we are following the rules. Here it is. And then Blake Johnson says, well, actually, you're wrong, too. It really didn't matter at the end because the chair won the game. Now, this is what is very annoying right now. They're not lying, but they're setting a weird narrative. People on the right. The Indiana House Committee is in charge of redistricting, has unanimously approved the state's new U.S. House maps, which would give Republicans new seats. Full House and Senate votes coming soon. He is not wrong, by the way. And it's not just him. It's also Eric Doherty. The Indiana House Committee passes the new 9-0 Republican redistricting map for the limited that this will be huge. Time for the full House and Senate passage. Get it done. Do not cave to Gavin Newsom. Now, he's not wrong. He's not wrong at all that the committee passed it, but I think all of us could admit it is setting like a weird, I don't know, framework, narrative, like, hey, guess what? It's getting done, right? And here is a, where is it? Oh, yeah, this one too, OSZ. Now, Kyle Pierce, he goes and he retweets OSZ and says, all right, I'm one of the 8 votes, which he was. He's part of the election committee. He said, here are the next steps. Thursday, the bill will be on the House floor for amendments, which I'm sure we will be there for a while. Wait a minute. Hold on. Yeah, because I think I have it. Yeah, I think I have it. And then Friday will be the final vote in the House, which don't forget, Indie Reporter Show on Wednesday, Indie Reporter Show on Friday. And then next week, which we already knew, which there will be a protest from the Indiana Democrat Party, I believe, on December 8th for the redistricting. Wait, did I see? I didn't see Johnny Wall. Oh, Johnny Walrus is in the chat. Let's go. Hey, kind of bad luck on the some other stuff, huh? Yeah, I'm a little bit bummed too on the walrus emoji. All right, so let's talk about the bills. I was gonna get like a dollar bill gun and start just shooting them in the air and be just like we're at a strip club, but all my dollar bills are sticky from the classy chassis. And it smells like pineapple, a little bit bedazzled too. Some of the bills had come out. Oh, let's see if there's any new ones. Some of them are lame. Some of them are redone from last year. I'm sure my shitbag state rep are just going to do a complete copy of everything that he did last year because it's short and he's kind of lazy and dumb. And he's kind of controlled by, in my opinion, he is controlled by lobbyists. I don't think he has a single independent thought in that tiny little brain of his. I think next week is the last day. Hold on, let me check now that I'm thinking about it. This one? There we go. Okay, so next Friday for the Senate, for sure. Yeah, okay, so next Friday is the bill request deadline. So, the last 2 weeks of December, there's nothing going on. So, obviously I will be paying attention to all the bills. But the ones that we can talk about now, the very first one on the list, Matt Pierce, Democrat Matt Pierce. Listen, Democrats, I don't know how you keep switching the thing. All of a sudden you say, I care about children, but also like you want to murder babies. Hey, I care about the elderly, but also I want to have a bill for them to kill themselves legally. Listen, this is a Kevorkian bill. Matt Pierce has been very persistent, very consistent in saying, hey, guess what? Old people should be able to kill themselves. And this is what is going on in Canada. Last time I checked the numbers, 4% of the deaths in Canada is from end-of-life option, Kevorkian style. Because why? Because socialized healthcare. Hey, you know what's cheaper than... I remember there was an article of this lady who said, I wanted a scooter that goes from my first floor to my second floor because I can't walk that well. And that Canada was like, nah, how about you kill yourself instead? They're so wild. Anyway, since 2018, he has had a bill for an end-of-life option. Why don't you just, it would actually be easier if you made it legal to kill yourself. Just do that. That's all you have to do. All right, so then J.D. Prescott, he put out his various immigration bill. This is an exact duplicate from last year's bill, by the way. And in basic terms, if ICE asks Indiana to hold someone, Indiana must do it. Wait a minute, I actually just thought of something. Did this get held up by J.D. Prescott? He had this bill. Who got held up first reading? And no, okay, I never even got a hear. I'm reading. Which one was the one that Liz Brown? Tommy House in the chat. Let's go. Yeah. Actually, that's a good call, Tommy. What if they just sacrificed one of their own? I mean, Ed Delaney's like at 82. Just let him be the first one to be given to Moloch. But in the chat GPT, basically, cities and counties cannot ignore or block immigration enforcement. Employers cannot hire undocumented workers. The AG can punish agencies or employers who don't follow these rules. Courts and officials must clearly document immigration detainer information. Now, I'm sure they're not going to follow all of that. Rules are rules, laws are laws. But if they are not enforced, none of them matter. That's just the facts of life. What was the bill that Liz Brown didn't want to listen to? I can't remember. Was it the J.D. Prescott bill? Which one got hung up in the Senate? I don't remember. I remember one of them did. But yeah, I double-checked it. It's almost an exact copy of last year's bill. No. Well, sort of. But this one should make Brad goon a little bit. Actually, I think I saw him in a chat yesterday. He was against it. But Danny Lopez, who is a former worker for Holcomb and Pence and Dan Coates, if I remember seeing his LinkedIn properly, he put out a bill that requires a candidate for governor who has been nominated at a primary election or state convention to certify the name of the candidate for lieutenant governor who will join jointly. This is basically trying to eliminate the convention for lieutenant governor. I talked about this last night on the IR show. They do not want to have another Micah Beckwith. That's what they don't want. And the same thing that they did was superintendent, where it was voted on the convention. They wanted to appoint it. And eventually they're just going to get to the point where they say, we're just going to eliminate the convention altogether, and we're just going to have a primary for everybody. I see, Brad. I thought so. Brad goons over Taylor Swift. No. Brad would goon over Paula DeLuna, right? Was that who we figured out? That big booty Latina. Ooh, look at that juicy booty, as that white guy would say. But anyway, I think I heard something a few months ago of that, and this is just the beginning. What I heard was that they want to eliminate all of them for the convention, that they want the governor to appoint everybody, because it wasn't just Micah. It was also Dan Elliott. Remember that Holdman had that bill because he's a banker. Oh, boy. I have to talk about this on Friday's show, too. Friday is going to be such a clusterfuck. But anyway, they wanted Dan Elliott is not well liked by the bankers, especially for how he is controlling the money as in investing. They feel like the bankers should be able to control it better. And they wanted to eliminate him his position from the convention. And that is my guess what the future will be like. They just want to eliminate of the convention altogether and just have everything appointed. Those should pay for their own. I think so too. I completely agree. Wait a minute, they do. Wait a minute, they already do. That's what everybody. If you're a delegate, you have to pay like $200 or something. By the way, I already have my hotel booked for the next year's convention. I am so pumped. I am probably going to get kicked out. No joke. By the time June comes around, I'm going to be even more hated by the Republicans, even more hated by the media. Maybe I'll get swatted finally. Where's the brown bat state mammal? Oh, yeah. Well, there's plenty. So true. Man, I forgot about that one. No, who is that from? Vicky Wilburn, wasn't it? Isn't that crazy broad that put that one out? Oh, she's already got her own. No, nothing yet. God, she's so goofy looking. She's like terrifying looking, like nightmare fuel. Here, look at her eyes. You're not gonna tell me that Victoria Garcia Milburn. I mean, it looks like something out of Beetlejuice. She's got the Gina Davis gums. All right. Ugh. Nightmare fuel. Obviously a cranky broad too. Anyway, yeah. Where was it? It was at the bottom, wasn't it? I forgot what it was. Oh yeah, there it is. State mammal. Designates the Indiana bat as the official state mammal of Indiana. Give me the porcupine, baby. Hey, who's with me? Give me the porcupine. Anyway, what do we got here? Okay, so obviously Mitch Gore, bitch Gore, he put out a bill too for the Indiana National Guard, provides that the governor may not, with certain exceptions, order a member of the Indiana National Guard to perform any law enforcement duty that may result in a surveillance, apprehension, detention, or arrest of an individual. That is not going anywhere, by the way. And then he had the firearm storage. By the way, we're in Marion County. It's already hard enough to pull people over for the most obvious things and ticket them. And then what does Ryan Mears does? He has his second chance workshop and say, actually, what you should do, Jennifer Duncan Bailey. Yeah, bad for batshit crazy. So true, Jennifer. So true. She is a loony bin, without a doubt. I do not like her. Deport, by the way. Deport big time. They only got a hedgehog. That'll do. That's like Temu Porcupine, right? So anyway, bitch Gore has a bill for firearm storage, which we know would never be enforced anyway, especially when you have judges like Mark Stoner or Jennifer Prince Harrison out there. Now, this is what I thought was really interesting. 1027, sale of bureau. Okay, so it prohibits the BMV from selling the personal information on an individual who is less than 21 or older than 65, or opts out of the sale of the individual's personal information. This one was kind of yeah, they could enforce it against white people. Yeah, that is very true. Yeah, white people trying to defend their home against illegal aliens trying to break into it, for sure. It also prohibits to which BMV provides such okay, so the bill requires BMV to provide an easily understandable and easily accessible means by which an individual may opt out of the sale of the individual's personal information. Here's an idea. Just put it on the BMV portal. It's literally that simple. Hey, when you go and have to renew for your license, there should just be an option. Hey, guess what? I opt out. It's like being an organ donor. Hey, do you want to be an organ donor? No, because I'll know you're going to chop off my Whitty and then give it to somebody else. And that boy is mine. I'm going to the grave with it. Victoria Garcia Wilburn. She also had a bill for, this will be interesting, requires the Department of Child Services to conduct an in-person assessment before closing an investigation involving a child who the department has a reason to believe is a child in need of services, CHINS, before recommending discharge of the child who is a subject. Now, I imagine it has something to do with that poor girl who was starved to death last year. I think it was either this year or last year. And then DCS totally flubbed that whole thing. I would say funny enough, but not funny enough. I got approval, by the way, with people dealing with that case, that I was able to show that picture, because that picture of that poor girl's legs at like 24 pounds or something and like 8 or whatever, however old she was. I got approval to post that picture. Plus, it was public information anyway. All right, so this one's interesting. We got a few more, and I got plenty of time. I got 8 minutes left. I just want to go through some of these bills because I know once they all file them, there's going to be a shit ton of them. Battery against vulnerable workers increases the penalty for battery on certain healthcare employees and school employees. That one, this is going to be interesting. Specifies that the enhancement for battery committed against the Department of Child Services employee applies only to those DCS employees whose responsibilities include personally supervising a child or parent, personally providing services to a child or parent, or personally interviewing a child or parent as part of investigation. Now, I think there should be an amendment. I will be totally on board with this if we have an amendment where there's a higher penalty if a juvenile gets in a fight or like gets in a fight with the teacher, like an actual physical, like slugs them in the mouth. I agree. They do need more caseworkers. We just need more robots. That's all. See, we need DCS workers like Judge Dredd, or like judge, jury, and executioner. It's literally that simple. That's where we're kind of headed anyway. But also, I don't know. Does battery also include like throwing your poop at someone? That's what I'm not sure about either. Parents need to be held accountable in teacher assault cases. Yeah, they need to get their ass beat. That's all. They didn't need to be thrown in the boo box. All right. Speaking of teachers, very fascinated with this one. Student cell telephone use. It requires each school, corporation, and charter school to adopt and implement a wireless communication device policy. But you're leaving it up to the schools, really. It prohibits a student from using or possessing basically a cell phone during the school day, requires teacher-directed use of a cell phone for educational purposes, blah, 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 blah. Now, someone mentioned this on a Facebook. Actually, let me look it up. Because I posted up this on the Facebook. And someone mentioned it. Oh, wait a minute. How come that didn't show up? Oh, we're not there yet. Someone made a comment on it. Oh, yeah. They said it's already a law for no cell phones in schools. Each school may enforce differently in method. And then, surprisingly, from Megan from Mad Voters, from what it looks like, the current law is not a ban. The new bill is an actual ban. Very interesting. So it is already law. Yes to both comments, Polly. Hey, Brad and Polly, this is what I want to know. So is there already a ban? If there's already a ban, because this new bill looks like it's not a ban. It says at the beginning, it says there's a policy. It says the bill requires each school, corporation to adopt and implement a wireless, but it also prohibits a student. So which one was the other one? 185. To adopt and publish the policy in school. Okay, so maybe there is no outright ban. Is that what it is? Jail the parent of a student who hits a teacher. Yeah, that's literally that simple. All right, Polly and Brad, I need your noggins for this one. Because if there's not a ban, boom, bang, bong, boo, doo, doo, doo. Also, king of the trust chart, Andrew Ireland, who seems to be going gray, by the way, might add. He said he just filed a constitutional amendment to let Indiana impeach rogue judges and prosecutors who refuse to hold violent criminals accountable. I will be school policy is current. Okay. The ban is to have no cell phones in the classroom, but you can still have them in your locker and at lunchtime. This is for a complete ban. Okay. Might be a ban, but not as enforced. Yeah. That's what I'm curious. Like, hey, guess what? Laws are great and all, but what about the enforcement of it? Especially when we talk about like IPS or any kind of school in Marion County. Have a parking spot for them in their class. Oh, parking spot. Like, hey, you're going to put all your cell phones in here. Okay. So this would be an outright ban then. Okay. And lunch. Okay. Well, that's interesting. That's good. I mean, that's how it should have. I imagine this is how it probably went. Like, hey, we're going to give you the option. We're going to let you enforce it. But if you don't enforce it, we're coming for you. But anyway, so Ireland has that bill. And then this data center water regulation. I got a feeling this is not going to go anywhere. I won't talk about that one. We're almost out of time. There's a crypto bill that they're going to be talking about. Of course, from Kyle Pierce and Jake Teshka. Jake Teshka was big on the crypto. Jake Teshka is a piece of shit. All right. Teshka is their standard GDP bro who does not believe in executing violent criminals or child rapists. This guy needs to be deported too. My 13-year-old is the same. Why does he look like such a dork? He needs a stylist. No. Ireland's based. He's got that sweet hair too. He's got a great head of lettuce, by the way. And also, okay, I like this bill. Restricted access for certain offenders. Provides that the offense of unlawful entry by a serious sex offender includes this. Okay, so guess what? No diddlers at the park. I like it, honestly. I don't have a problem with this one. And why don't we just execute that? I mean, if you are a serious sex offender, you should just be executed. Just put a chip in their neck, right? And when they cross the line, their head explodes. 2 birds, 1 stone. All right, so this is the schedule right now. Thursday, they're going to be listening to the crypto bill, and they're also going to be listening to a riverboat gaming license, of course, right? Wait, who's Craig Snow is the author. Also, by the way, there's no public comment. It's just the hearing, all right? So if you want to sign up to talk, you can't. They're just going to be talking about the bill. They're going to have their people in there to explain the bill too. They will end up having, yes, Jennifer, wood chipper, feet first. Also, utilities, energy, and telecommunication. This is going to be one I'm probably going to be watching the most of. It's an informational hearing on performance-based rate making. This was talked about in it's not really a summer study, but it really is a summer study. They were talking about the chance of performance-based rate making. Even when I went to that IMA policy summit, Soliday and I think Koch and possibly Susie Jaws talked about performance-based rate making. But obviously on Friday, I will be talking about that on the Indie Reporter Show. So we'll see. Real quick, though, with the last few minutes, the Indianapolis Council, they passed this proposal. It approved a pilot for a joint venture between Fabio Dela Cruz from Soho's Capital and Bergen Held. Now, it's really funny. In this presentation, it actually says all units will operate on 100% renewable electricity with rooftop solar covering the full electrical load. Sounds like to me they are expecting to power all of the units with rooftop solar, because what just happened yesterday? Oh, wow. Solar can't work that well when it's covered in a couple of inches of snow, but I'm sure they'll figure that right out. And during committee, Democrats like Jared Evans were felching it up. I mean, they were just slurping it up, glurping it up, felching the fuck out of it during the committee about renewable energy and solar power. And this is what happens when you live with your parents. Also, door happening in Irvington. Basically, you can booze outside and if we need to bring back mutual combat, where we need to bring in mutual combat, there should be an amendment. If we're going to have Dora, we are going to have mutual combat, because there's nothing like a good old bar fight. Brings me back. And that's about it. Yeah, not bad. On time. So let's give a quick rundown real quick. Tomorrow night, 8:00, probably on YouTube until I figure out this whole streaming thing. I might do it on StreamYard in the future, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, with a butter knife. In the Reporter Show, basically going to be talking about everything. It's going to be a 20-minute rundown. I'm going to be playing the clips that I talked about earlier, though. And then Friday night will be another Indie Reporter Show. So then next week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8:00 p.m., 20-minute rundown. Basically, that will be the Indie Reporter Show of what's going on with the State House. And then after that, I'll see you next year for the Indie Reporter Show. I'm not sure how long. I'm going to have a Friday show for the weekly Whitty News, because Saturday I won't be able to. I'll be up north doing some investigation. I will probably be arrested by the federal authorities, God willing. So I would say just pay attention to everything that I post because things are going to get very interesting. What the hell is going on here? So until then, you guys have a Hot Chick Challenge is probably happening on December 31st. So you guys have a great night. And I'll see you guys tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Love you guys. Bye.